Hello, Dumela, welcome, Gyal Amuhela. In this channel, you're going to learn how to have conversations, learn grammar, phonics, and a little bit of reading. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share.
Dumelang and welcome. You are here because you already know the familiar phrases that you need to use daily, but now you want to form your own sentences, but you want to do that grammatically correct. So this lesson is going to teach you how to construct a Sesotho sentence in the proper grammar structure. So we're going to learn how to do that in a proper way. Now, the things that we need to know when forming a sentence in Sesotho. There's a certain structure that you need to follow step by step in order to form a proper sentence. So to create a sentence in Sesotho, you need a subject, you need a subject concord, you need a verb, and an optional object, which is a noun or an adverb. So just to go over these, to remember, to remind ourselves what these terms are, maybe you might need to go back to your grammar book dictionary and get the definition. But shortly, when we're talking about a subject, we're talking about the subject that is being described in the sentence or that is talked about in the subject. So that's the subject. And the subject concord basically is what brings the sentence together. Without the subject concord, the sentence is not going to make any sense. In this lesson, there is a list of subject concords in when to use them. So this is just only part one, and I'm just only going to provide those subject concords so that you get familiar with them. And then we've got the verb, and a verb we know that is a doing word or an action word. A noun is anything that describes or is a name of a place, a thing, and etc. And then an adverb describes the verb. So for example, if I say I sing, sing is a doing verb, but now an adverb describes that verb. I sing loudly. Loudly is an adverb. So now that we've just gone through over that and we understand, we're clear, probably this is going to make more sense now. So for basic present tense, for basic present tense sentences, a common structure is used. So for like the present tense, when we're making the sentence, this is the structure that you need to follow, or the steps that you need to follow. First, you need to have a subject, and then the subject needs to be followed by a subject concord, and then you need to have a verb, and then lastly, the object or an adverb. So this is the step-by-step that you need to follow just in this order in order for you to make a proper sentence that is going to make sense grammatically. All right. Now, in English, a sentence must be comprised of at least two parts, the subject and the verb. It is also the same way with Sesotho, but now the difference is that with Sesotho, we need to have the subject concord. The subject is the doer of the sentence, and it can come in form of a noun or a pronoun. So the verb is what the doer does. So for example, in the sentence, she sings, she is the subject, and sings is the verb. And in the second sentence, Colin eats, Colin is the subject, and eats is the verb. Okay, now just try and get this in and understand it before we move to the next page. So now that we understand what all of these terms mean, and now that we have refreshed our memory about what these terms mean, let's see how this works in Sesotho. So remember, the steps that we follow is the subject first, and then the subject concord, and then the verb, and then lastly, an object or an adverb. Let's make an example for this. So we have a sentence which is mother is reading a book. So in Sesotho, it would be mme ubala buka. In this case, mme is the subject, which means mother, and u is the subject concord, and all sentences, they require a subject concord. Without the subject concord, the sentence is not going to make any sense. The word bala means to read. So this is in present tense, so the verb ends in an A. But if it was not in present tense, it was not going to end in an A. In this case, the object is buka, which is book, but the extension after the verb can also be an adverb. So remember, subject, subject concord, verb, and then lastly, the object adverb. So again, just going over the definitions of the terms, because it is very important that you understand what these terms mean. And then when you go through the list of the concord, and also when you go through the list of the vocabulary words that you have, and then it will be more easier for you to differentiate which is what, and then know when to place what word as a verb, what word as a noun, or what word as a subject. So the subject is a noun. It could also be a pronoun that tells us what the sentence talks about. And the verb represents the action in the sentence. So in Sesotho, basically the sentence structure in Sesotho centers on the noun. So the noun is made to concord, or rather agree with the verbs or the pronouns. And then the verb represents the action in the sentences. This list here, it indicates the subject concords, and we have 18 subject concords, but we do not have 11, 12, and 13 in Sesotho, mainly because they are used in languages such as isiZulu and Xhosa. So the classes of the subject concords, there's 18, and then we've got the prefixes, the subject concord, an example, and the translation of the word. So the prefix of the word, there's a word, musadi, number one, musadi, and that word is woman. The subject concord for the word for musadi, or any word with the prefix mu, M-O, the subject concord for that sentence is going to be N-O. So go over this list, familiarize yourself with it so that you will be able to know if you've got a certain word, which subject concord goes with that word. And then you'll be able to form and structure your sentence in a correct manner. Now, sometimes we have sentences without an object, and we also have a structure for that. So if the sentence does not have an object, the structure for the sentence to be formed is going to be the subject, number one, the subject concord, and then you add ya, and then the verb. So remember, EA is pronounced as ya. For example, to say the man is walking, it would be munna watamaya. Munna uyatamaya. Uyatamaya. And an EA, which is ya, is therefore added after the subject concord if the verb is not extended with an adverb or object. Now, the subject in the sentence may also be left out and be implied by the subject concord, like uya tamaya, which translates he, the man, is walking, or dia robala, which translates they are sleeping. The cats are sleeping. Note that a subject concord such as u does not indicate any gender. Therefore, with the example uya tsamaya, it could read he is walking or she is walking. The gender is usually determined by the context of the whole text. So you need to listen in order to differentiate what gender is this associated with. But whenever there is u, it can be any gender. Now, these are the 5 steps in forming a basic sentence in Sesotho, in this order. Number 1, you choose a subject, which is a noun referring to a person or thing that is going to perform an action. And then number 2, you add the subject's concord. And these are the nouns which are divided into classes, and each class has its own subject concord. Remember to go to the list that I've provided in order for you to know which subject concord to use. And then thirdly, if there is an extension after the verb, which is objects or adverbs, if there is, you go to number 4, and then you choose the verb, which is an action to be performed by the subject. But if there is no extension or after the verb, then you're going to add ya. You're going to add ya. And then number 5, add an optional object, which here is an action performed or an adverb, a way in which the action is done. Remember, an adverb describes the verb. So these are the 5 steps that you need to know and the right order you need to follow in order to create a structured, grammatically correct Sesotho sentence. Please take your time to go over this video, and if you do have any questions, please leave them on the comments below. And if you have any suggestions, do that. I will highly appreciate and would love to hear from you. And if you have not subscribed yet, I would really love to welcome you to our family, and also hit the notification bell so that you are alert whenever I post new content, which I do every week. Thank you again for watching. Re tla bonana hape.